Should you neuter or spay your dog? A lot of people are very surprised when I give them my answer to this. My quick answer is actually no. Now, I'm going to explain in detail why this is. Now, I know a lot of people will, it's particularly rescue groups, everything is preached. You have to spay and neuter, spay and neuter, spay and neuter. Well, there is a lot of downsides and serious downsides to spaying or neutering your dog, okay? But first I want to talk about some of the things and common myths about neutering and spaying your dog that people think happens that doesn't happen, okay? One of the most common myths that I hear in relationship with neutering or spaying dogs is that if I neuter or spay my dog, it's going to reduce their aggression level. And this is not true. When you neuter or spay a dog, that has nothing to do with changing their aggression. Almost all aggression is fear-based. Neutering your dog, removing their testicles, is not going to make your dog less afraid of another dog, less afraid of a vacuum, less afraid of the garbage truck, whatever he has an aggressive tendency towards. What neutering does do is it lowers the dog's energy level. Because right now we're talking about male dogs and neutering them. Because you're taking away their testosterone. So they naturally have less energy. It has nothing to do with aggression though. Okay? Here's another myth. That it reduces sexual behaviors, such as humping. Well, not necessarily. Because a lot of dogs hump as just a playful behavior. Humping oftentimes is not a sexual behavior to dogs unless they're specifically trying to mate. It's a playful behavior. Dogs will do it, male dogs will do it to male dogs, female dogs will do it to female dogs, dog will do it to humans. Dogs know they can't mate with humans, but they hump us anyways. Why? Because it's fun. It's a form of play to them. Okay? So these are some very common myths that I hear. Another one is that if you don't neuter or spay your dog, that they're going to get out and they're going to go have babies with another dog and get another dog pregnant. Okay, and here is the thing about that. I guess it depends. Reproducing. I guess it depends on your area where you live. My dog, for example, I have a house here with 8-foot walls all the way around. My dog doesn't go to dog daycares. My dog is never unsupervised, is never out of my supervision. So unless my dog manages to find a way to scale an 8-foot wall and then go find a female dog who's in heat, there's no risk of that overpopulation. That kind of gets thrown in with stray dogs. All right, stray dogs are where the overpopulation problem comes from. Backyard breeders is where this overpopulation problem comes from. A responsible dog owner who watches what their dog does, that is not why we have an overpopulation of dogs and cats and everything else, okay? So, first I just wanted to get those out of the way, okay? Now, are there benefits to neutering and spaying your dogs? There are, I guess, a couple. One is generally you get lower fees, licensing fees, if you have to license your dog. All right, it's not going to save you much, probably like $20 a year, but hey, every little bit helps. So that would be one reason to do it. You can reduce the specific types of cancer. Okay, 2 types of cancer. For male dogs, testicular cancer. For the female dogs, ovarian cancer. However, that is a very rare cancer. It's like, for male dogs, it's like a 7% dogs who, 7% of dogs who are intact, you don't neuter them, develop testicular cancer. And there's about a 90% success rate of curing it. So those are just two types of cancer that you're preventing by neutering or spaying your dog. Now I'm going to get into why I don't personally recommend neutering or spaying dogs when people ask me, alright? If they should or when they should. Here is the first big reason, and this is for people with big dogs particularly, okay? Bone growth is a very important part here. All right, when you have a puppy, and if you have a young puppy and you look at their front arms, their legs, you'll see there's like a little knot right above their foot. And what that knot is, it's a growth plate. And as your dog grows, that growth plate moves up higher and higher and higher. And as it moves up, it starts to flatten out until one day it's completely flat. That's how you know the growth plate is in place. It's done growing. Your dog has finished growing. When people take their dogs and they neuter them at 6 months old, or even younger, which is even worse, you're taking away a vital part of the dog's genetics. And the bone growth can be very easily messed with. You will see dogs when they do x-rays where the growth plates don't set correctly, or one will be higher than the other, okay? Because you've taken away a vital part of the dog. Neutering or spaying can lead to hip dysplasia as well. Early hip dysplasia, because again, you're taking away something that the dog was naturally supposed to have. And hip dysplasia, that leads to either needing hip replacements, which is very painful. Hip dysplasia in general is just very painful. Again, it can be prevented by not neutering or spaying the dog. Here's another one that a lot of people don't realize. Dementia in older dogs, okay? That kind of senile behavior. There have been links that leaving a dog intact, their hormones affects the brain. And older dogs that were neutered or were spayed have much higher risk of dementia behaviors, of incontinence, going to the bathroom in the house, just kind of just losing it. What dementia is, again, can be avoided by not neutering or spaying. Now here is the big one: is cancer. Okay, when you neuter a dog at a very early age, the risk of bone cancer shoots up to like 3 times the normal rate. Neutering them, period, you're still risking 3 types of really bad cancers: bone cancer, heart cancer, and spleen. Okay, and these are high. They're very high rates that dogs that are neutered or spayed, you will see these in. Again, you can completely avoid it by not doing it. Last thing is obesity. Your dog is 3 times more likely to become obese, put on extra weight when you neuter or spay them, because again, they're losing energy, and less energy, less activity. It's very easy for them to put on weight. When people who have an older dog get their dog neutered or spayed late, they often have to change the food and cut back on the food because they notice their dog's starting to gain weight. Okay, so as you can see, there is quite a few negatives to neutering and spaying your dog. Oh, there's one more. Let me add it over here. I forgot to mention hypothyroidism. This is also another very, very common thing that you will see occur much higher in dogs who are neutered or spayed. So from a medical standpoint, everybody always preaches, oh, you have to neuter, you have to spay, and people just kind of do it blindly because that's become almost the social standard. You don't neuter or spay your dog, and someone asks, why isn't your dog spayed? Why isn't your dog neutered? And we didn't have all this information years ago. My own dog, who is now 6 years old, I neutered him, and it's the biggest mistake. I wish I could go back and not do it. Now, I did wait to do it until he was about 18 months because the bone growth and hip dysplasia studies were quite prominent back then. But the cancer stuff, this is newer stuff, and I wish that I wouldn't have done that. Knock on wood, he doesn't get anything, any of these other symptoms, but odds are he will. All right, and this is why I want to give you this information so you can make an informed decision. For me, I would rather be paying the extra $20 a year for the extra licensing fee to be avoiding all of this. Okay, so don't just blindly follow, your veterinarian or the rescue group, whatever it is, says you must absolutely spay or neuter your dog, because there definitely are, are risks of it. Just the surgery itself is a risk. You have the dog has to go under anesthesia, and anytime anybody, a dog or a human goes under anesthesia, that's a risk. So you have to keep that in mind as well. I don't force, anybody to say you need to not spay your dog, or you should spay your dog, or neuter your dog, not neuter your dog. But if somebody asks me and you want my, professional opinion, I would not recommend neutering or spaying your dog. And then I have him leave it. I say leave it. And I would have him wait for 5 to 10 seconds so he can catch his breath. Okay, Max, take it. And then he goes back, he drinks for about 5 seconds or so.